this is season 7, which really originally came out in 2013, and that was the year after I came back when Hosh Miagi and MFSB reunited. And this is the first time they were able to shoot with my 2 GoPro cameras that I got when I was in film school in Yosemite, and it was just a great time. And we forgot to shoot an intro, so this will serve as the intro. But enjoy the reunification of the Twin Powers activate whoosh, at, of course, Stony Point, which is where we used to climb together all back in the day and shit. And I hope you're having fun watching these, especially if it's a rain day and you aren't able to get out yourself.
Yeah.
You can do the Joshua Horne version. Did you see how big that fucking dino was? It was like a BBW.
In action.
It's fucking nerve-wracking after not climbing for so long.
We need to do the intro.
Looking good. I tried. I'm good. I'm good.
Still a little, like, I've been climbing a lot. Okay, the heebie-jeebies are gone.
Yay!
As you'll see here in episode 2, we're on the same boulder. We actually spent the whole day just there. And partly that was because we hadn't bouldered together in a while. There's a whole gang of us. There was like 6 or 8 of us. And there's a lot to do. So we had kind of like just a base camp. But also, it's pretty tall for us. And we were a little like, oh shit, like we haven't done a tall boulder like this in a while. But we also were playing with the cameras. And there was a boulder across. So we would climb up and shoot at the boulder we were climbing at. We would stand on top of the boulder that we were on. And then we also did this one, which was cool because it was like a POV, and I climbed it a couple times with different angles of like which way the camera was pointing, you know, straight out or down or what have you. So enjoy this POV view, even though it's the same boulder problem as episode 1. And shout out to Horne, who did the music for this episode. Thank you so much.
cam shot.
As the deer panted for the water, so my soul longeth after thee. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. You're my friend, and you are my brother, even though you are a king. I love you more than any other, much more than anything. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you.
If you've been following along all the seasons in the history of Fresh Crow, you know the first couple seasons took place in Oregon, where Hosh and I met and put the show together. And then we moved down to LA together and started doing some film work. And then I moved overseas and lived in Australia for 3 years. And that was when we had those international seasons. Mexico, Australia. And then this season, coming back to LA and catching up with Hosh. And then this episode, number 3, I did a road trip with El Jefe, and we went to Moab and climbed all over the place. We went to Fisher Towers, we went to Arches, we went to Canyons, we did all the things. So enjoy this second reunion episode, this time with El Jefe in Utah.
Vanilla wafer's actually much better.
No. Chips Ahoy?
Are you serious? No. Actually, you know what's the best? Brownie cookies.
Yeah. This song goes out to Rosa for making the worst brownies ever.
our brownie cookie song.
Which are
We
actually
just-
pretty much the worst thing ever made. Ever.
But they're still pretty good.
Yes.
Even though they weren't brownies, they're brownie cookies! And how about some happy music? This would be a sweet secret track song or something. You would be listening to my CD and just be like, what is it doing? And Sully turns into metal. Drop D. My hands are sweaty.
Really? That's kind of gross, man.
Oh no,
Why did you tell me that?
because sweat is very attractive.
No. Alright, that's enough.
No. Now a song for Mexicans.
This reminds me of that one time we were playing Sunset Riders and your keyboard died. So then, a song very similar to this just kept playing over and over and over. So then, we left the room and shut the door. That's pretty much what we did. I think that's all. Ay caramba, Sunset Riders, why do you have to break my computer?
Are so bad.
Alright, I think I have to go.
Alright.
As you can, well, I'm actually getting wet. The rain's coming in. But we're now at episode 4. I gotta step in a little bit. I'm getting pretty soaked. Definitely not a climbing day. However, when I was in Fisher Towers, which is what this episode is for, I was really psyched that El Jefe and I got to climb Stolen Chimney, which is one of the most famous, I was gonna say peaks, roots, formations at Fisher Tower. It's the little corkscrew chimney, but we also hiked in to see the Titan. But the thing I forgot to say is earlier in the episode 3 slideshow, you may have seen that El Jefe was there, but also Robert E. from the Mexico season. So it's very cool. We were able to have a little bit of reunification because El Jefe and Robert E. were both in Yosemite with me for a while. And so they had known each other previously and were able to have a reunion in Utah. And that was very cool. So I'm going to get out of here before the rain soaks me. Enjoy your climbing and don't get wet. All right, here we are at 10 o'clock in the morning on February 21st. And where is it? Well, it's all blown out because of the sun. We are at Fisher Tower in Utah, and we're going to be hiking in, it's about a mile or so, to do Ancient Art, Lost Chimney. And as you can tell, I have been sleeping very well in 20-degree temperatures all week. Here's a view of what's going on in Fisher Tower Valley in Utah. The sun is actually out, and it's one of the warmer days, although there is snow on the ground. But it's not bad, actually. I'm actually just wearing, well, I got long underwear on, but I just have a basically polypro shirt and a vest. The other day, we were all decked out with like ski parkas and gloves and stuff because it was freezing. But so you can't quite see it because, where is it? This is in the way. But on the other side, about a mile down, we're going to come around, and Ancient Art is the first cluster, and there's a corkscrew summit on there called Stolen Chimney. We're going to do that. It's a 511/58 or 9 A0, depending on what guidebook you're in. So that's the day today, and you'll see the topos and pictures and such in this more soon. So it's the end of the day, and we just climbed the Corkscrew Tower, which is, where's the camera? Over here. And it was pretty amazing. You'll see the pictures. You can turn around so you don't have the sun right in your face. But we decided to hike further down the trail to go see the Titan, which is a 900-foot high spire out here at Fisher Towers. And the entire time we're coming down the trail, we're just freaking out because every cliff is amazing. There's like gargoyle looking structures and stuff up there. I'm going to show you behind me. Where is it? I can't see because the sun is in my face. That is Titan. Good God. Where is it? Fuck. So we came around the corner, and you know, we see this. It's amazing. And we sweep across to here, and all of a sudden we see Titan, and our jaws dropped. We're like, oh my God. So yeah, definitely made the whole trip. And here's Fisher Tower Valley. And the Corkscrew Summit. Dream climb. Boom. On the tail end of season 7 already, which I can't believe, and it's been really fun rewatching, I mean, not only this season, but all the seasons that I've been kind of diving back into to kind of, you know, remind myself of all my climbing friends and all our adventures. So here in episode 5, it's a training talk where I actually went to go visit Hosh at his place, and I just kind of walking a cool down lap at his apartment complex where he was living at the time, you know, just kind of around, and they were holding the camera up for me and just being like, what have you been doing? Like, you just went on a week-long climbing trip, and, you know, it's winter still, but we're going into spring, and you're planning on getting back into like big walls. Like, what are you doing? What's working? What isn't working? We were very nostalgic and talking about. I mean, at this point, we've known each other almost 10 years, and we'd been climbing together. We've been climbing apart, and it was just really cool to chit chat and talk about, you know, what we learned and what was working, what wasn't. So enjoy this training talk in the parking area of Hosh Miagi's apartment complex somewhere in California.
Well, I was in Australia for 3 years and I didn't climb at all. Well, I climbed maybe like 3 times outside in 3 years. So basically, in 2009, I climbed for 10 months and did big walls and everything. It was like in a fantastic climbing shape. And then had 3 years of not getting any climbing at all. So this year, I wanted to do a big wall again, and then I just got invited to do another big wall in August. So the one in August I'll have a partner for, but the one in September I'm going to be all alone. So I knew I had to not just get in shape and start climbing more, I knew I had to like get in big wall shape, because I'll be climbing for 10, 12, 15 hours a day times 3, 4, 5 days straight. So in January I was sick for like a month, and so basically really started from scratch in February with 3 years of no climbing at all, and then being in bed for a month. So I was going to the gym a lot, and I kind of fell into what I call a bad habit of going to the gym and just lifting lots of weights. And I try to do a lot of Olympic lifts, but because it's like full body, but it still doesn't really help you for climbing, or especially for big wall climbing, because if you go in and you lift as hard as you possibly can for an hour, 5 days a week, it's only 5 hours of training. And on a day when I go climbing, I might go climb for 5 hours that one day. So I went on a climbing trip in March, and I realized I was in a rut, because I kept telling people, oh, I love climbing, and climbing's been my life for 20 years, because 2013 is my 20th anniversary year of climbing. But I realized I wasn't climbing. I went on this climbing trip for a week, and it was the first climbing I'd done in 2013. So I went home. The day I got home, I quit the gym, and now all I'm doing is training on my own, doing body weight training. I've run track, I've boxed, I've done martial arts, I've done stunts, and I've climbed. And all that stuff has gotten me into the best conditioning I've ever been in, and all of it is no equipment. You know, it's a jump rope, it's a dumbbell, it's a floor mat, and that's it. It's mostly body weight stuff. And ironically, I have a friend that comes down once a month or every 6 weeks to come visit. And he came in and said, hey, my God, what have you been doing? You look amazing. And I said, oh, I quit the gym. And he laughed and goes, only you could quit the gym and look in better shape than anyone else would have been like, oh, I started going to the gym. But it was a really big slap to the face, because, so for instance, I just finished this workout and I have this jump rope. I just jumped rope for 20 minutes. And let's see, a month ago, I bought this jump rope, and I tried to jump rope for 10 minutes thinking that'll be an easy way to get back into it, and I couldn't jump rope for 10 minutes. I had to do like a minute on, minute off. So it took me like 20 minutes to jump rope 10 minutes. But then the next week I was able to do 10 minutes straight, and the next week I was able to do 20 minutes but in sections. And then finally last week I could jump rope for 20 minutes. No problem. So it does come back. It just takes you a little while. And I also started running again, which is awful. Well, I'm not even running, I'm jogging. I don't allow myself to call it running because I used to actually run and do marathons and things. So to me, it's like I'm jogging. But you go out and you jog for 20 minutes, I don't care what anyone says, if you're not running, you're not running. Like, it's so good for my endurance and my cardio, and I know every minute that I run now in August and September, I'm gonna be so thankful for it when I'm up on the wall and I'm in like hour 16 of climbing and hauling and cleaning and doing all that crazy stuff with 40 pounds of gear on me. But it's hard sometimes because I train mostly on my own, and so I have to keep myself on task of, well, this is hard, I don't want to do it, or I hate that workout, but I have to do it because that's my weak spot, or what have you. So for instance, for me, I'm not getting hit by a car. I'm weak in the shoulders, and I've had a lot of shoulder injuries over 20 years of climbing. And so I know I have to work on my shoulders a lot, so I'm trying to do presses, so it's like handstands against the wall. And let's see, a month ago, I could do 2 or 3 1-minute handstands, like a minute, a couple minutes rest, a minute, a couple minutes rest, a minute. And then like 3 weeks ago, I did 5 1-minute ones in a day, and then last week I did like 5-minute ones, and like you do one 2-minute break, do one 2-minute break. It's instead of taking a half hour, like 5-minute rest in between, it was like 2-minute rests. And then this week, I did 2 5-minute press workouts. So again, it's coming, but it's hard. So, and I was supposed to climb today, but I wasn't able to go. And it's like running. Like, jump roping is great, cycling is great, all that stuff is great, but it's not running. And it's good cross training for running, but the only way to get better at running is to be running. And it's the same with climbing. Like, I can do wrist curls and push-ups and pull-ups and run and do all this other stuff, but it's not climbing. So hopefully all the non-climbing workouts and the running and the jump rope and the presses and everything will get my body strong. And then on the days that I can climb really hard and make like big progressive leaps. So that's kind of where I'm at right now in April.
Quick intro to this one. As you'll hear, this episode is a voiceover where I am talking about all the places in the CO, aka Central Oregon, that Hosh and I used to go climbing in all the time. But I just wanted to say it's really nice actually being out here on the patio in the rain. We live in Vegas now and we don't get a lot of rain days. So it is surprisingly nostalgic to look at an episode all about Central Oregon and be like, oh, it kind of smells and feels like I'm back there because we used to have rain days a lot. So whether you live there or here or anywhere else, enjoy this episode of all the different, which there's a ton, of local, like in-town climbing areas. When I first moved there, I used to think, well, we got to drive all the way out to Smith Rock and that takes an hour. And that's great, but you could just go 10 minutes down the road if you know where all the secret crags are. Enjoy. Hello, this is MFSB, and we are in season 7. I can't believe it. Hosh and I have not been able to climb a lot recently, so we're kind of going through our archives a bit. And we put together some slideshows for when we used to be in the CO, as we call it, Central Oregon. First area is Meadow Camp, which is about 10-minute drive outside of downtown, right where the Old Mill District is. Just head out towards the ski area and turn left and hike in a little bit next to the water, and you have this great little boulder field.
Matoyas has a bunch of pictures here in some of their catalogs, and it's just like a nice local spot. But the thing that's nice about it is, yeah, there's lots of bouldering, but I mean, this is El Jefe. We can go actually climbing there too. There's lots of cracks, and there's a bunch of top rope climbs, but you could actually also do tread climbing too. So it's a kind of a nice spot because you're right down the water. It feels very wildernessy. It's only a few minutes drive away. So like we used to leave all our gear in the car, and then we would literally just sometimes go down there at lunch or immediately after work. But yeah, lots of bouldering, lots of top roping, lots of trad climbing. It's just a really great spot. So next time you're in a CO, check it out. So next up, this slideshow is kind of a combination of Widgie Creek, which is usually just called Widgie, and the Riverside Boulders. The Riverside Boulders are right up from the bridge in the Old Mill District. There's actually bouldering on both sides of the water. This is all the West Side Boulders. Widgie Creek is a little further. You have to go past Meadow Camp, and then it's on the right-hand side, and you gotta kind of baja on a Jeep trail back 10 minutes maybe. But there's a great parking area and a slew of boulders. Both the West Side Boulders and Widgie are just bouldering. West Side Boulder, well, they both have a couple boulders that are tall that you probably would want to throw a top rope on just because they're kind of like highball sort of. You know, you're getting into the 20 plus, 30 plus height, where obviously a ground fall would be terrible and you'd break an ankle or something. But a lot of them are short and, you know, they're just sit-start problems or traverses or something like that. The nice thing about the West Side Boulders, kind of like Meadow Camp, is that you're right on the water. It's a nice little hiking trail, and like I said, you could hike up from the Old Mill District if you wanted to. Really nice. Whereas Widgie is, you know, you're like in the forest, so there's no water, but you know, people have camped out there overnight, and sometimes you go and you see a big crew. And we've actually done a couple weekend trips where we just said, you know, we don't really want to drive an hour or two to go somewhere, but we can just throw some sleeping bags in the back of the truck and go to Widgie and have a campfire and spend the night, and it's kind of a good time. So check out Widgie and the Riverside Boulders if you get a chance. So the last spot is Sisters, which I don't think there's a name, it's just the Sisters Boulder Field. In the town of Sisters, is about a half-hour drive outside of Bend, is this awesome boulder field, and it's on like fire roads. So I mean, if you just have a normal car, you can drive out there, but you know, you might want to have a pickup or a Jeep or something. But the nice thing is there's like 100 plus boulder problems. The only thing is the rocks are really sharp, so you can do some top roping out there. There are some like quote routes in the book, but a lot of them, they're just kind of like more highball style boulder problems. So you could go out there and just crush like 100 roots with the boulder pad. But you know, the first couple times you're out there, like I said, the rock is really sharp and you might be a little suspect. So I would definitely plan on setting up some top ropes. But again, there's a awesome parking lot, you know, just dirt lot, and you can camp out, and we've done a lot of weekend trips there. And as you can see, this was kind of a stormy day, like it was raining in Bend when we drove out there. So we didn't actually climb, but super fun place. So go to the CO and you can do tons of climbing right in town.
More CO action in episode 7, over and under. This time, we're focused on the under the CO adventures of going spelunking, and the over the CO adventures of doing some peak bagging with El Jefe. Again, there's a voiceover here because it's more slideshow stuff, but enjoy nonetheless. The rain continues to fall, and it continues to be nice.
Hello, true believers. This is MFSB again with another slideshow episode. Not a lot of climbing going on with Hosh Miagi and MFSB at the moment, but we have many adventures which we have yet to tell you, and
here are two more from the CO. El Jefe and I went out to the lava tubes and did a bunch of spelunking. We actually did this many times. He used to visit me in the winter, or the fall, I should say, and quite often there would be snow at Smith Rocks, or it's too cold to climb. But if you go underground, it's a constant kind of temperature. And so if you go about 15 miles outside of Bend, I forget the name of the road, it's like a dirt road that just goes to nowhere, there are some big caves, and a couple of them are squeeze caves, and you know, they take a half hour to get through. This big cavern that you can see here is a huge cave, and it takes about an hour round trip to get all the way into the end and back. And it's kind of amazing. You go in there and turn the lights off and your eyes do not adjust. It's just total blackness. So that's a little story of going literally under the mountain. And then here we switch over to the view of Sisters. These photos don't show us up on the mountain. This is us driving back and forth from the Sisters boulder field and going, hey, one of these days we should get up on the Sisters. And we subsequently have gone up about a North Sister and South Sister, but not Center Sister. But the South Sister is it's just under 11,000 feet, 10,000 feet, something like that. Super fun. We've also been out to Mount Hood. That's a picture there on the lake. And then my buddy George and I did a couple other mountaineering trips, you know, snowshoe, backpacking type things. But lots of fun to be had in the Cascades. So whether you're going underground, under the mountain or over the mountain, go to the CO and have fun in the mountains. End of an era. Man, I mentioned the nostalgia earlier, but it's really hitting hard this time. So this is episode 8, the final episode of not only the season, but also the final episode of the Fresh Cro-Magnon Men. And I think we even say this. So this was a podcast. We decided, we're going to go to the studio. Hosh was working in a studio at the time, like recording music and mixing and everything. So we had like professional microphones and everything. And let's go out on final episode in the studio, like interviewing each other about the experience of 7 years of the show and almost 10 years of knowing each other. And I mean, the show continued. I mean, this legacy, this is season 12, but this is the first season in like 5 years. But, there were some breaks, not only in our lives together, where like we didn't see each other, we were moving and doing different things and dating people or not or whatever. And sometimes we wouldn't see each other or go climbing together for a long time. So it was really fun for me to listen to this. And so fun fact, the footage is from Stony Point. And I did a time lapse one day where I recorded like an hour or an hour and a half of the sunset. And so I just sped it up a little bit so you could basically watch the entire kind of twilight happen as the sun literally sets on Fresh Crow. So thank you so much for watching. Please, like and share and all the things. And go to my YouTube channel, watch all the original episodes if you're psyched. And if not, at least check out these legacy editions. Again, it's kind of an easy way to just go like year by year through all the tales. Climb safe and have fun. So after many years, here we are once again, together again, the Fresh Cro-Magnon Crow crew.
Crow crew, men.
I'm MFSB.
And I am Hosh Miagi.
And we're here to introduce the end of an era with the final show, which may not be the final show, but as far as we know.
It may or may not be. We'll keep you guys on the edge of your seats.
That's right. But so we're just gonna kind of reflect on the last 7 years, Jesus, of the show, and kind of talk about things and stuff.
Yeah. 7 years. I had just turned 20. I was 20.
Jesus.
You were 30.
I was 30.
Yeah. Yeah.
My beard now is gray.
My beard now is fuller,
So are
but
you?
still not. Yeah, so am I.
We're both fuller.
After 7 years, we have packed on the manliness,
That's right.
as I like to call it, because I don't like calling myself fat, even though that's kind of what it's gotten down to.
Man muscle.
Man muscle.
That's right.
That's right.
It's funny, we've been watching some of the old episodes and we're like, wow, that was who's that guy?
That was me? Really?
I can't do that.
No.
But it's been really a cool kind of journey because like we're from different parts of the country. We meet in Oregon. We
Hate
start
each other at
climbing. Yeah,
first.
we're like, I'm trying to do this. Who are you? And then out of that, we end up with this like, oh, we'll go to Joshua Tree and then we'll go to California and then we'll make a show.
Yeah,
And then,
and almost a decade later, we're here. Like somehow we have a studio, and we're both doing different stuff.
but yeah, we went from being poor and living on the floor in Oregon to now we're in LA and we're in the industry, but we're still
poor.
Yeah, still kind of living on the floor. But anyway, but still climbing and still psyched. So there you go.
Emotionally, we are like a year older, I think.
It's true.
We've gotten,
I'm
we've
like
grown-
31.
Yeah, we've grown up. I'm probably 22.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably
21 and a
22.
half, but just round.
Yeah,
you just
just
round it
rounding
up.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Emotionally.
I try and round it down.
Yeah.
You know, because when you hit your
'Cause
30s,
exactly.
you don't want to be 40
Yeah.
too fast.
Yeah, we should start having emotional birthdays.
We should,
Yeah.
Yep.
That'd be amazing.
like every half
actually.
decade.
Yeah, exactly. Dumb. Anyway,
Nope.
no, it's been it's been a journey, dude, just like you said it. No reference to the music. You're not gonna hear any journey on this.
Don't stop the journey.
Fine.
Whoa,
Make it-
whoa.
Make
That's
a-
too high.
Yeah, make a liar out of me.
I know. Well, we didn't hear it. We did it.
You did it.
I did that journey. Well, I did have a couple things I wanted to ask, so we could kind of like.
We're interviewing ourselves.
Yes.
That's how far we've come.
So we want to kind of counterpoint our experiences and stuff. So if you had
Highlight.
one highlight or the one thing that sticks out in your mind, like when I go fresh crow and you go bam.
Two things come to mind. A, when we first met, like not when we first met, but the fact that you called me the next day. I think I even told you on the phone when you called me. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting
Yeah.
you to call me.
Yeah, I remember that.
But then we went climbing. It was that day, right? You called me, and you're like, you want to hit up Woodgie Creek again or something? And
Yeah.
I think we went. So it's either that or sitting at New River when we decided that we were gonna record stuff and like make a show, and so sitting on the rock in the middle of the river with terrible sound quality because the river's going, you're and then you hear me talking like, oh, sorry about the little camera and stuff, and so that first intro was kind of like was kind of the essence of Fresh Crow, like, hey, we're not Chris Sharma, we don't have people following us around with cameras, and so this is what we have shitty audio and a shitty camera, and we just love climbing and we want to document it. So, and I'm glad that we did, because now I can look back on those things, and pictures are great, but video is just amazing. What about you?
So, well, the thing that sticks out of my mind, which actually we don't have any video from at all, is when we went to Joshua Tree, because
Yeah.
that was our first trip together.
Yeah.
But the other thing that was so great about that is we had our buddy from Arizona bring like a crew,
Mm-hmm.
and then we kind of assembled a crew
crew.
from Oregon, and we brought them all together in the desert.
Oh
and
my
then
God.
I remember us several times sitting there, and it was kind of like we were the dual kings. We were just kind of look out at all these people climbing and having a good time, and they're all strange. They didn't know each
Yeah.
other, and everyone's
We
having a
brought
great
these
time.
people
And we
together.
were like, we did this.
Yep. Yeah.
And we had all these kind of silent exchanges
Mhm.
where we were just like nodding and smiling, being like, "Yep,
Yep.
you don't need to say anything. I understand." And
exactly.
and then, as most people know, on climbing trips, it's like long and hard. You're driving for 10 hours or 15 hours or 20
Mhm.
hours straight, and you climb every single day, and you come back and you're exhausted and you're dirty and you're completely overwhelmed, and it feels like you were gone for a month.
Yeah.
You were gone for a week, and then when you come home, you have to like immediately fall back into regular life, but you can't.
Yeah.
And so it felt like at that point, like, oh, I've known you for a decade, and
Yeah.
I've known you for like a year or
Yeah.
something, you know?
Yeah, it was definitely a residual euphoria after that trip, for sure.
We have to make an album and call it Residual Euphoria.
Right? And it's just us talking.
Right.
William Shatner style with a beat in the background. Exactly. And then I'm just going to talk like this and we can have that beat. And we need to get Rollins because they do stuff together.
That's right.
So, Rollins, if you're out there.
Yes, and you're listening to this.
Which, if you are, like.
This is your wake-up call.
Exactly.
Here's another question. So what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you climbing?
When I stopped.
When was that?
Because
2009, 2010?
Yeah, 2009, 2010. I think it's because, I'm not going to name any names, but I started dating somebody that...
That was when you were with...
Yeah. Good job. That's going to sound legit.
I bleep myself sometimes.
Yeah, well, that wasn't a bleep. That was a total reversal or mix-up.
I reverse my
sounds.
bleeps.
Yeah, you... So if it goes beep, does it go eep?
Don't give me away.
Okay.
These are trade secrets.
I know, I'm sorry. But we can cut that out.
This is like a smodcast? What's it called?
Podcast?
No, but the Kevin Smith version.
Oh, Smodcast.
It's fucking Crowcast.
That's Crowcast, that's right. Not to be confused with croquet,
Nope.
which
Rhymes with
bouquet.
silly.
I'm glad that you said silly.
Yep.
I was trying to really rhyme croquet. And I did.
You did. You rhymed the hell out of it.
I don't know anything else that rhymes with that.
So anyway, back to...
Yeah. Girls take you away from things sometimes. They got that power.
They've got the power.
That's, yeah. I used a different P word
Yep.
for it.
Because you're polite.
That's right. Good P words.
Yep.
Yeah. So no, I procrastinated with my ascensions.
Pow.
Wow. Not even pow, just wow. Yeah, so I mean, I was still climbing every now and then, you know, and she actually got me into drinking a lot of beer, and you know, because she was from the South, and you know, which was great because she got me into football and whatever. That was fun. But I started just climbing less and drinking more.
One-arm curls.
Yeah. Yeah, so I, you know, kind of descended into not really climbing anymore.
One of the most interesting things for me on the journey is that
It happened twice.
Yep. Well, now it's a thing.
It is a thing.
Yeah. Is that over the last like 7 or 8 years, we've had so many parallels,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't matter because, you know, we're both in Oregon, and then we moved to LA, and then I was living in Yosemite for like a year, and then like you were going back and forth between home and here, and then I was overseas for a couple years, and like the whole time I was overseas, I wasn't doing any climbing either. So I had like basically 3 years of I'm like, oh, I'm going to school and I'm working. And
Yeah.
in my head, I was a climber,
Mm-hmm.
but my body, not at all, you know?
Yeah.
And I kind of forgot how much I loved it. And it wasn't until, and actually I did a climbing trip in October last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and I was like, God, I really love climbing so much. And I came home and
then nothing.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
It wasn't until 6 months later, this year in March, when I did the second climbing trip, that I was like, oh, right, October, yeah, I went climb. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to consciously choose to recommit to being a rock climber.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, Fresh Crow helped me do that.
Whenever I'm like, oh, I just can't climb as hard as I used to, and you know, for me now, it's not so much about climbing hard. It's about just having fun, which sometimes I think I'm like creating this thing for a cop out, like, oh, I don't have to climb hard because I've already climbed really hard. No, it's just for fun. But then I think I stopped climbing because it stopped being fun.
So now that I've come back, I kind of feel like this is me starting the second half of my climbing career.
Yeah.
Because this is my 20th year climbing.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I've had breaks, like a 3-year break.
Yeah.
Now I'm super psyched to climb again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically, I don't have any other gear other than climbing gear. And so whenever I have time or energy,
Which both are lacking lately.
yep, I try and go climbing.
Yeah. I've been doing and that just brings us to another parallel. We're both on that, like, we have to start over again, and it's really hard because we have to start over again and we're back to square one. I'm almost 40. Well, I'm not anymore. I'm 30 pounds heavier than what I was when you first met me and we started climbing. Some of those dynos, I can still do some of those dynos, but gravity's like.
And that's another parallel where we're both now in a different decade than we were when we started.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we're both looking at, like, it's funny, like, climbing for a long time kind of retarded my progress, because I'm like, I'll just be a climbing bum.
Yeah.
And I'll just live in my car. And I'll just live on the floor.
Because I can do that when we're young and we can.
And I'll just live in my tent and I'll just
Yeah.
have nothing. And then I'll go work for like 6 months straight and I won't climb or do anything. It'll be my whole life. I'll work like 7 days a week. And I'll still live like a rock climber so I can save like 90% of my paycheck.
Yeah.
And then I can take half a year off.
Yep, and then go climb and do all this other stuff.
And then I'll just repeat that over and over. And it
Exactly.
doesn't matter what my relationship is or what's going on with my family or whatever, because I'm a selfish SOB and I'm just going to be a rock climber.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, okay, so now I'm in my late 30s and I'm like, I don't have any savings and I don't have any money and I have no insurance and I have
nothing.
nothing.
But okay, so on the other end of that though, like yeah, I see. I mean, my brother just bought his first house, and he's like 5 years younger than me or something like that. And I'm super happy for him and stuff, and that's really great. But it's one of those things where the people that I grew up with, yeah, they're married, they have kids, they have jobs, whatever. But when I sit down and have a conversation with them, they're like, "Oh my God, you did that? And you went where?
You've done everything."
So like I have this life that I've built where I've done so many things and seen so many people and places that now when I'm ready to kind of like be a rock climber but also segue into real life, you know, I'm really wealthy in my memories and the friendships that I've made. But when it comes to monetary wealth, then you're right, it's retarded us financially. I would do it the same way over again.
So, but
I would.
the second thing I was going to say though is, but now climbing is the motivation.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, okay, I have this certain set of skills, so I'm in the process of applying to a career job because that will enable me to have the money and the time to go rock climbing.
Yep, exactly.
Because now that I'm older, I want to be like, how about we fly to this place and we take 2 weeks and we go climb there.
Yep.
And we can still pay all our bills. We can probably go have a better time because we don't have to scrimp and save and go there and every single little, like, let's steal ketchup packets because we can't afford it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like now it's like, I want to have the career job because I want to be able to have a good gear and not be like, well, it's probably okay, it didn't break. You know,
Yeah.
like, so it's funny how the first half of my life climbing kind of, it's almost like you said, the memory bank is rich,
Yeah.
but every other part of my life is
weak.
kind of empty, you
yeah.
know? But now it's like that same activity is the thing that's going to
drive us
turn my
to-
life around.
Exactly.
You know? Well, so one thing that I'll share with you and also the audience, like Henry Rollins, who's going to listen to this on his way to getting William Shatner over here, is that so I came across this recent. I just went up to Yosemite for a couple weeks and I came across this amazing, there's all these great people, you know, especially at a mecca like Yosemite, and because it draws them, but then you know you like literally run into and you're like, oh, you just changed my life because you said this to me.
Yeah.
You know? And so one of the things that happened was this guy said, so many people do so many things.
Yeah.
And he's like, but you only have the time and energy and the direction and everything for so many things.
Yeah.
And he's like, so you need to think in terms of like your hands.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, so everyone has like a dominant hand and then they have their non-dominant hand. And he's like, so if the like palm of your hand represents like you or like your life or the things you do, then each one of those fingers is like one of the things.
Yeah.
So he's like, you can kind of have like, well, this hand is the hand that like is the majority of my life. So it's, you know, my job, my relationship, and, you know, my hobby or whatever, you know. So for me, it's like, okay, these are the 5 things that I spend the majority of my time on. It's my job, my relationship, climbing, filmmaking, and sleep.
Yep.
It's like, if I'm not doing one of those things, I'm doing one of those other things, or I'm doing something that contributes directly to one of those things.
Yeah.
And then, you know, my non-dominant hand is like maybe another 5 things I like to do, but that's just kind of like
Like if I get around to
in
it,
the background or whatever.
It exists.
But it was just this great way for me to consciously
Visualize,
choose, like, okay, whenever I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, or do I have time for this, or do I want this in my life, or whatever, I literally can just look at my hand and I can visualize each one of those fingers is like, is this that person? Is this that thing? Is this my job or career? Is this climbing? Is this... No? Okay, well, maybe I have room. And if I don't, then I kind of go, well, maybe that's too many things in my life, or maybe this other thing is more important than that, and that would be fun to do, but I'm just not going to put it in my life because I'd rather focus and be really successful at these 5 things.
You focus on the triple P threat coming up.
Bam.
It's Palm Perfect Priorities. Done. Yeah, no, that's a great. I haven't heard that until now, and that's a perfect way to visualize things.
So when I think of like climbing together, the Joshua Tree trip is what I think of.
Yeah.
When I think of actually like making the show, my favorite memory is when we first started. You alluded to this, like we're out there with a little camera and the noise, and we didn't know what we were doing and everything.
Yeah.
But
we didn't even have it on the right setting.
Yeah, no. We're like, oh, this is the worst setting. We'll just film it on that.
Yeah.
Whoops. So we went out, did that, went home, edited it all day
On
the terrible editing
terrible
equipment.
program.
And then we went out the next day and filmed the next episode.
Yeah.
And then we stayed up all night
Editing
and edited it. And then we were like, we need to make a DVD. So we made a DVD of the 2 episodes.
And then we
watched it.
But
So-
we signed them first.
Yes, we signed them. And then we went in, and so at the time we were selling furniture and stuff so we could afford to buy food, and we're living on like
Rice and sausage.
And eggs. And so we buy, a huge thing of rice, a huge thing of eggs, and like
and just make a
tapatio.
vat of it.
And we'd make a vat of that, and we would just eat that like 3 times a day.
Yep.
And so like we would sleep on the floor, and I don't even think we had a couch anymore. We just had a big TV on the floor. That's right.
Yeah.
And so we didn't sleep. We did all this stuff because we were, quote, artists.
That's right.
And we were like hysterical because we were so exhausted from climbing. We were so sleep deprived, and we had no vitamins or minerals in our body at all. But we sat there and we watched the show, and like literally we're kicking the air and high-fiving ourselves and being like, we're fucking geniuses!
Yeah.
We're fucking geniuses! And that was like the best time of my life.
It was. It was really, really good. Like, again, it comes back to that, like, we were poor as shit, and we ate the cheapest food that we could find, but we were creating, memories along with these videos, and that was perfect. That time was really hard, but it was perfect. I don't know how we got girls into, when we were living together, like, to come over.
Like, you should come to my house and sit on the floor because we have no furniture.
Exactly.
And you can watch the movies we make because we're filmmakers.
Yeah.
And
I'm
then
surprised somebody wasn't like,
we can
"Are
feed
you
you a
guys
bowl of
gay?"
rice.
Like, yeah, right.
Would you like anything to eat? Sure. What do you have? Rice.
Rice.
We can put hot sauce on it. What? Yep. Watch our show. We're geniuses. There were so many.
Dude, somehow we took a trip to film the Yacht Rock episode.
Yes.
At Stony Point.
Yes.
And somehow I ended up getting like a super hot Asian to fly up.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
She was super hot.
Yeah, she was.
She was crazy hot.
She was crazy hot. She was older than me, and she was older than you.
Yeah.
But she was 15 years older, 15 years my senior. But she was so incredibly small, and respectfully, she was gorgeous.
Petite.
She was very petite, perfectly petite.
P-word column's gonna stagger under its own weight.
That's right.
Which is the complete opposite of that girl.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the things we used to do to end our shows was we would always do a thanks.
Yeah.
Like Hosh Miagi thanks, MFSB thanks.
Oh my God.
And so I would like to thank, in order of preference, Asian girls, because they've had a big impact on both of our lives. Petite Asian girls, but just kind of girls in general, because there's been a lot of girls that have had to put up with my masculine bullshit I'm a rock climber, and like, well, I don't care if it's Christmas, I'm leaving because I'm going on a climbing trip. Sorry.
And
and you can't contact me because I'm going to be in the wilderness, and You just have
Exactly.
to deal with maybe I'm alive or dead, maybe I'm with somebody else. Like you just have no idea, and then I'll come back and like, oh, we broke up 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was gone for a
and,
month.
And to
Sorry.
pause the thank yous, like girls, really climbing, we either want to like impress the girls without actually like, oh, I'm gonna impress the girl. You know, we want to impress the girls, so we would climb more. When we were happy with what our girl did, we would go climb because we're happy. And when we're angry and to get away from the girls, we would go climb. So
Yeah.
girls have had a very big effect
Yeah.
on our climbing career.
Yep.
At least mine, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's funny that like, you said that because that they are the total A to Z. So it didn't matter what they did.
They pushed us to go.
There's no girls in my life. I'm gonna climb all the time.
Yep.
There's a girl in my life, so I'm gonna spend 5 days a week with her and thinking about her. But then I need my day to like go be a man in the wilderness. Or I'm gonna take
Exactly.
her with me, and then I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna take you climbing all the time because I want to teach you how to do this, and this is a thing that we can do together.
Exactly.
But it was still made the climbing happen.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's my first thank. I'm gonna thank all the girls
all
and the
the
women.
females,
Yeah. Or girls that I've met or climbed with, and you know, there's a lot of awesome girls out there that
Yep.
do climbing too. And then to go to another P word, the partners. Like there've been
Yes.
so many people I've climbed with, and people that have taught me stuff, or people that we've run into on the trail, and they've given us some good beta about like, oh, you should do this, you should go over here, or, you know,
Yeah.
you go camp at this place. You know, all those random things. Whether it's like, oh, I'm on a trip by myself and you're on a trip for yourself, so let's just travel together. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, we just spent 2 months together. Or whether it's like we passed each other on the trail and you were like, gave me some kind of like a, enjoy the climb. And you're like, I will.
Yeah.
You know, like it could
Yeah.
be that small.
Yeah.
Like all those partners have just contributed to all the trips being so great. And then the last thing I want to thank, because I kind of just want to do it in terms of like groups, because there'd be too many people
Oh,
or
yeah.
individual things.
Yeah. None of
is,
you are that important.
Yeah, that's right. you're just a member of some group,
That's right. Just kidding.
some posse,
Oh.
busting it out.
Yeah.
Great 80s film with Meryl Van Peebles in it.
Wow. Good
People.
reference.
Good peoples.
Good peoples.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is I want to thank Hosh Miagi, because if it wasn't for, because Hosh Miagi, Fresh Cro-Magnon Men is Hosh Miyagi's, I was gonna say baby, but with a P emphasis.
Yeah.
But it's the B.
Brain. What's the? I guess I don't know. I'll have to look.
Anyway,
Thesaurus.
so this is your thesaurus. Oh wait, sorry. This is your
This is your thesaurus.
the Fresh Cro-Magnon Men was the Hosh Miagi creation.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like, oh, you had this great concept, and we came together. It like blew up.
Yeah.
You know. But if you hadn't said, so I had this concept,
Yeah.
I never would have been like, oh, well, we should have a web series, and I'll edit them and post them, and we'll make a thing of it. It would have just been like, I'll go climb with my buddy, you know. So all of this and getting into LA and getting into the film world and doing projects all came from the fact that
That we started filming.
we started
ourselves.
making a web series.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for you, none of this would have happened.
Yeah.
I would be in your studio right now.
Well, you're welcome, because you should thank me every day of your life.
It's
Yeah.
I do mostly silent.
Silent thank yous.
Yep.
Silent gratitude.
Asterisk. You can hear this.
Yeah. No, and that's I mean, I guess for my thank yous, I'd have to start off with thanking MFSB, because when I first started climbing, I was climbing in vans without a crash pad, going way too high and not knowing what I was doing. And
Vans are hard to strap to your feet.
vans are really hard to, yeah.
The sliding door opens.
Exactly.
And the tires are heavy.
Yeah, tires are the transmission is what gets you.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you're in the right gear.
It's too long.
You gotta send it, put it into send. That's why there's an S on the gear shift.
Oh God. Oh man. But also you taught me that, I mean, when we first started climbing, we obviously had totally opposite climbing styles.
Yeah.
You know, you were finesse and I was aggro. I was super,
Power.
Yeah, oh my God, power. Yep. You were pirouettes, I was power.
I was like, look, I did these 8 moves and I
Yeah.
didn't make any sound. You're like,
Ah!
Tough.
Yep.
I was
I
like-
skipped those moves.
what?
Yeah. No, but it's one of those things that like we kind of came together and you touched on it earlier, but we leveled each other out a little bit. You know, I learned that I needed to actually, you know, take my time sometimes, and body position really does count. I just can't jump to the top of every climb, and so I had to learn how to move, body movement. I learned a lot of that from you, So, and then I have to thank Mother.
My second mom.
Yeah, for she's been a saint through all of this, you know, like,
God bless her.
get a job. No, I think I'll go climb. Bye. Which didn't make her happy, but I'd come back from climbing and she'd have like tostones and like make a bunch of food and stuff because she knew that I'd be hungry after climbing. And I mean, I say my mom in particular, but my whole family, obviously, because they've been there through a lot. But mom specifically just because like she's physically been there.
Mm-hmm.
Also have to thank minivans. I know it sounds weird, but this really is the second half to my climbing career because the first half started with a white minivan. And I literally just, they hauled it away yesterday.
Oh, I was wondering.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, which is everyone, Hosh was in a almost career-ending pile up.
Yeah.
What was that? Beginning of the summer?
March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
March 4th.
I was in Moab and you were in Traction.
I was. Yeah. It was pretty bad. The guy's in jail now, apparently. So, I mean, I could sit here and thank people and things all day long, but I mean, really, I guess I should have grouped these people in with you, but people that really took the time and had the patience to teach me, because I can learn how to do anything, but the learning curve is so out there that without your help and without other people's help, it would have just taken so long.
We've been probably recording for like an hour.
Probably.
I'm gonna play it in regular speed. Here's a 32-minute interview.
I know.
As the sun sets.
But you know what? For the people that, if you do that, for the people that actually take the time to listen to all of that, they'll probably laugh a couple of times. And
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Cry a couple times.
Yeah. Hank, Bill, you know what I'm talking about. Give me a call, 310-916-8808.
Well, you're gonna have everyone calling you now.
I know.
They'll be like, let's just call for no reason.
Who's that guy?
My name's Hank.
And by Hank and Bill, I mean Henry Rollins and William Shatner. So if you're not one of those people, I'd care not to talk to you.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, on the street is fine.
Yeah, you can talk to me on the street if you're nice and give me juice.
When you say P words.
And if you say P words, it'll probably get you pretty far with this kind of personality here. So, yeah.
So thanks for watching Fresh Crow after 7 seasons
And listening.
And 8 years and listening.
And listening.
This is MFSB signing off.
And this is Hosh Miagi signing off.
That's POW for now.
Signing off for now. Yeah.
Yeah.
POW for now. Maybe be back. Okay, we're signing off. Thanks for listening to.
We now return you to your regular scheduled broadcast.
5.14
To your regular scheduled podcast.
We should just have a podcast.
We should have a podcast. Can we just do this like, if we did this for like 2 or 3 hour session, like once a week? Do you want this close?
Yeah.
No.
No. Now a song for Mexicans.